Hey Gnocchi, you wanna help me? Oh, sorry buddy. You do wanna help. Yeah? You gonna build something? Yeah. Good boy. Welcome back to Good Boi Builds. On this episode, we'll be building a kitchen island. It's a little embarrassing, but we've been using this desk as a kind of kitchen island. But that's not good, and I think we need a proper one. Here's the basic design. There's a couple of things I'd like to have, or restrictions with this build. First, it has to fit the butcher block top we already own, which is 1 inch thick and 30 by 48 inches. Second, I want 2 largish drawers, one for recycling, one for trash, and the top drawer for easy access of knives, spices, utensils, etc. And third, I want to be able to sit on the other side of it on the bar stools that we own and enjoy my breakfast. So that's the plan. Let's see how we go. I first tackled building the main cabinet shell, and I used my Craig guide and circular saw with a fine-tooth curve blade to make these crosscuts on the plywood sheet for minimal tear out. And then I moved on to ripping pieces for the 3-inch tall base with the toe kick. I then dry fitted the island shell, carcass, cabinet, whatever. Wherever screws could not be seen, I used pocket screws, like when assembling the base and the toe kick. And everything seemed to fit well, so I applied some wood glue, put a few brad nails to briefly hold it in place, and clamped it together. I also sunk a few screws where I knew they would be covered up. And I moved on to the cabinet faces. I made them from Poplar, since it paints really well, and often comes smooth from the big box stores as if it's been pre-sanded. I tried to get a tight fit on the Poplar face pieces. I glued them, brad nailed them, and clamped. And as that glued up, I assembled the island cabinet base and toe kick. And then I moved on to the soft close drawer slides. I decided to use the bottom slides as they seemed easier to install compared to the side ones. It's a little tricky lining the slides up so they close well, but I played around with the position a little bit and screwed them down. I also need to build some internal bracing for the slides. Now, the type of cabinet slides you choose will dictate how you should build the drawers. In my case, I used these balloon brackets, which required me to have the bottom of the cabinets be inset inside. It will make more sense in a sec when I start attaching the slides to the island and the drawers. Next were the drawers. I needed 2 large drawers for the trash and recycling, and a smaller yet wide top drawer for our knives and so on. So to assemble, I cut these grooves by moving the sides of the cabinet through my table saw, slowly moving the fence over by 1/8 of an inch or so until I get the right width of cut. I didn't get smooth grooves from my multiple table saw cuts. Perhaps I should have used a flat top blade. Last build I used a router for this task and had much better results. Still, it's something a little bit of chiseling can even out, and this doesn't need to be perfect, it's all going to be hidden. So that's the bottom I'm gluing into the grooves now. Then I have a couple of small pieces out for the rails to slide into the bottom of the shelf. The manufacturer recommends you putting the cabinets on the slides and sliding them back. There are sharp points on the back of the slides that dig into the plywood piece as you fully close them. That creates the mark where you should drill a little hole for the sharp points to sit in. It's a little finicky, but once you do it once correctly, the system is rather simple. Okay, so these orange contraptions hold the rails on the drawer and can be adjusted a little bit to the left, to the right, to line everything up nice and precise. You know, if you can't cut things and screw things precisely in the first place. The general height of the 2 trash drawers is in part dictated by the types of plastic bins that will sit inside them. It was actually kind of hard to find plastic bins that were of sufficient volume but also fit into my design. So taking into account the 1.5-inch Poplar piece here, my top drawer will really only be 4 inches high inside, which is just enough for our purposes. And I did the same thing to the top drawer. They're ripped. Cut to length. Make the grooves. Glue up. And clamp. I also wanted to separate the trash compartments from the top of the cabinet by a 1/4-inch thick plywood sheet. And here I'm measuring the height of the boards that will prop the piece up. Since I'm a rather sloppy cleaner, I wanted to make sure the trash drawers didn't have lots of nooks and crannies for me to soil. So I decided to cut out some top covers for the drawers that would fit the plastic trash bins nice and snug. And I wanted to make them detachable for easy cleaning. The top drawer is made from 1/2-inch plywood, and its length made me think there would be too much deflection in the middle, so I put some extra backing on the sides that don't interfere with the slide mechanisms. Yeah. Remember when I used these pieces as my backing boards for the cabinet slides? Well, I didn't cut them well enough and they were a little angled. They were just kind of a no-no for this project. So I glued up a bunch of MDF, which is exactly 3/4 of an inch thick, and I cut those to my desired width. Onto the drawer faces. I made them out of 3/4 MDF and routed the edges. I believe the profile is called a Diable Roman Ogi. Anyway, it's the most common profile for our existing kitchen cabinets. The router does make a good profile in the MDF, but you have to lightly sand the edges to get rid of all that fluffy stuff there. Next was installing a couple of Poplar boards to give the island a slightly more interesting profile and cover up any mistakes and screw holes. So as you can see, this is epoxy and it's great for filling up any holes of small cracks and lines you get from two pieces of wood connecting. Just cut the small pieces at a time, mush them around to activate the epoxy, push it in all the crevices, then you only have to wait for like 20-30 minutes before sanding. And now, painting. Painting! A quick coat of primer. We're painting this island this blue, slightly grey color to match the colors of the cabinets already installed in the kitchen. And 3 coats of that. Alright, final installation time. I decided to put a couple of these black iron brackets to support the weight put on the island top on the side we'll be sitting on. And we put these bronze handles that should patina nicely.